to do what he thought was right for the country. Despite tremendous pressure, this statesman put aside partisanship and made the tough decision. And he became the first Republican to come out for the impeachment of President Nixon. That man was my dad, former Congressman Lawrence J. Hogan, Sr., who's here with us today. Dad put aside party politics and his own personal considerations in order to do the right thing for the nation. And I'm going to get emotional now. And he taught me more about integrity in one day than most men learn in a lifetime. And I am so proud to be his son. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are gathered in front of our beautiful State House, which has been in service since 1772. A few steps from where I'm standing is where General George Washington resigned his commission. 231 years ago, the Revolutionary War ended right here, inside this State House, with the ratification of the Treaty of Paris in 1784. And just a few miles away from here, when the future of a fledgling nation was in doubt, Francis Scott Key penned the Star-Spangled Banner during the War of 1812. For Maryland and for our nation, this is a place where great things begin and where great things are accomplished. Today, against this historic and majestic backdrop, Maryland once again starts a new chapter in our long, proud history. Today's inauguration marks a new beginning for Maryland and the limitless possibilities before us. I am a lifelong Marylander who loves this state. Every great experience, every great memory, every great moment I have ever had in my life has happened right here in Maryland. And it is such an incredible honor to be standing before you today as the 62nd governor of the great state of Maryland. I am truly humbled and deeply grateful for the opportunity to serve my fellow Marylanders. And I vow to work tirelessly every single day to prove worthy of this great honor that you have granted me. Today, we celebrate a new beginning for Maryland, remembering our past while striving for a better and more promising future. The question isn't whether Maryland is a great state. The question is, what will we do, all of us, to reinvigorate this great state that we all love? What will we do to ensure that our future is better than our present and our past? I believe that the time has come to cast aside the status quo and to come together to build a better future for our state and all our citizens. We must set the bar higher. We must set the bar higher and create a bolder vision of the future. Let's create a Maryland that is thriving, growing, innovating, and is responsive to the needs of all its citizens. Let's strive to make Maryland the best place in America to live, work, raise a family, start a business, or even to retire. Let us renew our sense of optimism and make Maryland a place of unlimited promise. Together, let's make Maryland a place that we can all be proud of again. Today, I am reminded of those brave Marylanders who first came to this land seeking freedom and opportunity when they landed in St. Mary's City in 1634. While the challenges facing us today are different, I know that the courage and the spirit of Marylanders is the same. We seek the freedom to compete without the undue burden of high taxes and bureaucratic regulations which make us less competitive. We seek opportunities to build better communities, better businesses, and better lives for ourselves, our children, and our children's children. And most of all, we cherish the freedom and opportunity to decide our future. And today, we celebrate that freedom and opportunity. What I envision for Maryland is not just an economic and fiscal recovery, but a rebirth of our spirit and a renewed commitment to our common purpose. The citizens of Maryland expect great things from us, and they deserve great things from us. Too often we see wedge politics and petty rhetoric used to belittle adversaries and to inflame partisan divisions. But I believe that Maryland is better than this. Our history proves that we're better than this. It's only when the partisan shouting stops that we can hear each other's voices and concerns. I am prepared to create an environment of trust and cooperation where the best ideas rise to the top based upon their merit, regardless of which side of the political debate they come from. No problem faces us that hard work, honesty, and courage cannot solve if we work together. Ladies and gentlemen, we can improve the tone in Annapolis, and we will. Yeah. And we can move towards a common-sense, solutions-based government. The problems we face are great, but so is our resolve to fix them. President Kennedy once said, "Let us not seek the Republican answer or the Democratic answer, but the right answer." In that spirit, let us sit down together and come up with real, bipartisan, common-sense solutions to the serious problems that face us. That's what the people of Maryland voted for. It's what they want, and it's what they deserve. The history of our great state is rich and deep, and our commitment to freedom and justice has always been our strength. In 1649, the Maryland Toleration Act, one of the first laws that granted different faiths the right to freely worship, was enacted. Since then, over the many years, Maryland has blossomed into a state wonderfully defined by our vibrant culture of racial, ethnic, and religious diversity. In our hearts, Marylanders are hardwired for inclusiveness. It's who we are. It's our founding principle. It's a part of our identity, and it's our greatest strength. Our culture of tolerance and mutual respect must also extend to those with whom we happen to differ on politics. Today is not the beginning of an era of divided government. Today is the beginning of a new spirit of bipartisan cooperation in Annapolis. There is so much that unites us: a love of our state, a commitment to fairness, and a desire to be economically strong and successful. And to those who would divide us or drive us to the extremes of either political party, I remind you that Maryland has been called a state of middle temperament. Our politics need that middle temperament as well. The politics that have divided our nation need not divide our state. In the days ahead, I ask all Marylanders to seek that middle ground where we can all stand together. I recognize that the events of 2014 stirred strong feelings throughout the nation. But in keeping with the moderate tradition of Maryland, we expressed our passions in a positive, open, respectful, and civil way as concerned neighbors. It's one of the many reasons I'm proud to be a Marylander. Our greatest challenge has always been reaching the high expectations set for us by our founders. That is why we will always keep trying, always keep growing, and why we shall never fail. In the end, it isn't about politics. It's about citizenship. and the ability to understand the difference, that is what it means to be a Marylander. Maryland's greatness is in her goodness. Partisanship should never denigrate the unique legacy entrusted to us by our founders. To my friends across the aisle, I assure you that partisanship will never play a role in my decision-making. Everything we do will be guided by 4 common-sense principles. First, fiscal responsibility. Our state government must provide essential services yet still live within its means. We must run our state government more efficiently and more cost-effectively. Second, economic growth. Maryland has an educated workforce, world-class universities and colleges, great community colleges and public schools. We have the beautiful Chesapeake Bay, the Port of Baltimore, and a great location in the heart of the Mid-Atlantic region. We must leverage these amazing assets to transform Maryland into a place where businesses can flourish and create more jobs and more opportunities for our citizens. Starting today, let me say loudly and clearly, Maryland is open for business. Third, reform. We must improve our state government's ability to be more responsive to and better serve and represent all our citizens. Fourth, fairness.